We have breaking news here in the 3 o'clock hour. New information is coming down about the moments leading up to a deadly plane crash out of Sumner County. Earlier this month, we reported this small plane crashed in Gallatin. It was found wedged between two trees. A new report from the National Transportation Safety Board shows the pilot was trying to land in Cleveland after the pilot complained about an electrical issue in that aircraft. He was only 7 miles away from an airport when the plane started to lose engine power. The pilot tried to do an off-airport landing, they've learned, but he eventually crashed. We, of course, will update this story as that investigation moves along.